Julia, we put on our Twitter that we were going to talk to you today, and people twittered in their questions. So I'm
Aha.
going to ask you some questions that come from all around the country.
I think children do what they see. And in order for us to help our children be more spiritual, we need to take a look at ourselves and say, am I modeling being more spiritual? And I have a daughter who has been doing morning pages now for 12 years. She noticed that I was doing them. She got curious. Uh, she noticed that other people seemed to be doing them with good results. And I tried not to proselytize, say, oh, for God's sake, do morning pages, you'll feel so much better. Uh, but I just sort of let it go, and she started up doing them. And she's been doing them now for over a decade. And she also knows about walking. She wears a little, I think it's called a pedometer,
Yes.
that tells her how much she walks every day. She's aiming at that Brenda Euland 5 or 6 miles. She walks a lot in Manhattan. And this is again something that she caught from me. She knows that I would go out and do it every day. So it must be something worth doing. I wrote a play called Love in the DMZ, which was a Vietnam love story, and in it, the the husband cheats on the wife, and she has to grapple with her feelings of betrayal. And I had gone through that, and so my wife was modeled pretty closely on my life. And it took some nerve to go back and touch that pain because it had been a substantial source of pain for me. I recently wrote a book called Mozart's Ghost, and it's a book about ghosts and mediums and the other side. And I had to write it even though there was Nigel saying, this is getting a little bit too
Your
woo-woo.
inner critic, Nigel.
Yes, Nigel, my inner critic, was saying, this book is too woo-woo, Julia. But I went ahead and wrote it anyway because I found it delightful. And that took a little bit of courage to accomplish. Well, it's a synchronicity story. I was a Hollywood screenwriter, and I was self-publishing The Artist's Way, and I sent a copy of it to my literary agent at William Morris, and she read it, and she said, Julia, go back to writing movies. Nobody's going to want to read this book about creativity. And somehow I intuitively knew she was just wrong. So I withdrew from being her client based on what she had said. And so there I was sitting in Chicago with a book and no literary agent. But Mark, my ex-husband, went to a store called Transitions, and when he was there, the owner, Howard, said to him, does Julia have an agent? I had an agent come in and leave me her card. So Mark took the card, and when he came home and I told him, we have no agent anymore, I've left William Morris, which was, career suicide. He said, I have an agent's number, and you must call her. So he pulled out the little card, and I dialed the number for a woman named Susan Schulman, and then I put Mark on the phone because I was just too chicken. And Mark got on the phone and explained that he had a girlfriend, I was his fiance at that point, who had written a book that Susan ought to see. And then Susan said, well, could I speak with her? And he put me on the phone, and I had an immediate rapport with her. And she said, send me the book. So I sent her the book, and she called up right after Christmas and said, I always get a good Christmas present from the universe, and this year it's your book. So that was how we went from being self-published to having a literary agent, and then she sent it to Tarcher, and Tarcher decided to publish it. So it wasn't too linear. I do believe that there is a path for our work, that when we make a piece of work, it has a destiny, and if we listen, we will be led. Well, I feel like when I teach people, I'm right there and I'm sort of in their face and I'm saying, did you do your morning pages? Did you do your artist date? Did you do your walk? They check in with a little card each week, sort of like true confessions, this is what I did. And by the time we've finished 12 weeks, we have the whole class doing all of the exercises. So what I'm hoping is that this will be a stand-in for myself, that the book will be as if you're there, and I'm teasing you a little bit. Now come on, come and try it, because I find I use the Artist's Way tools every day. I do morning pages every day. I walk the dogs. I get to the museum for an artist's date. And these things keep my work vital and keep me energized and happy. And I know that there are many people who use the Artist's Way and then set it to one side. And I'm hoping that this book will speak to all of them. Oh, I remember what it was like when I was doing that, and maybe I should try doing that again.